This is probably like a deep pull, but Lorn Lure reminds me of those classic 1st to 3rd gen Bionicle animations. You know, the really ambient ones that feel bleak and mysterious? I loved those animations as a kid, just like I loved Bionicles. And Lorn Lure, I think, encapsulates the vibe that those used to have, and I absolutely love it. Inspired by the King in Yellow, Lorn Lure follows an android that is lost, slowly losing its energy, afraid of being trapped forever in the hell pits of this giant industrial machination. While Lorn Lure is not a horror game, there are certainly horror elements throughout it, and it's definitely not afraid to be unsettling and downright disturbing at times. Blood and gore can go a lot further in a game like this when they aren't used frequently, and I think that's one of the strong suits of this game. When you're walking around mostly by yourself in a completely ambient experience, running into another person or finding a grotesquely destroyed body can be even more outstanding and unnerving. Even if it isn't super graphic, just finding even somebody just lying there unresponsive can make you feel tense, make you wonder what's going on, and it's only added by the downright eerie, quiet nothingness, really, that you experience while exploring the industrial mazes and everything at what I can only assume is the center of the world. Now, when you hear me say that and you go, well, what do you mean if you don't know where it is? Well, Lorn Lure kind of does a Dark Souls, and I hate to use that comparison because people do it all the time, but it's a good example here, style of storytelling, where it's mostly left up to the player. There's little bits of lore here and there, and you can find as much as you're interested in, but for the most part, it lets you piece it together. You fill in the little gaps here and there and try to figure things out. And I think that's when the game is at its strongest, is letting your imagination run wild and making you wonder just exactly what's going on. The maze almost reminds me of what Neo sees when he awakens from the Matrix for the first time. It's overwhelming, it's massive, it's so bleak, dark, and gray, and disturbing, even though it's just metal. It feels so anti-human, anti-Earth, and anytime you even see glimpses of something like where a tree could have been, or, you know, maybe through like a small glass peephole you see, you know, light in the distance, it makes you wonder where you are and what's happening. How did we get here? How did humanity, or whoever this is, end up here? How did the androids end up here? And what is it exactly that we're following with this owl creature thing? What does it mean? Where is it taking me? All of these questions make every single jump, every single explorative moment super gratifying. You look at these giant, sprawling, huge levels, and you wonder how you'll ever climb this, you know, pipe system or this giant rock wall or whatever it is. And as you slowly climb it, you find little things here and there, maybe a hut where someone used to live, and just everything about the way you explore in this game and how exploration teaches you to play better is fantastic. It's super gratifying, and I absolutely loved it. It is worth noting, however, that the game is quite challenging. If you're not super well versed with 3D platformers, you will definitely find this game challenging at times. I know I did. I definitely found myself stumbling through certain sequences or being so lost that I'd have to look up a guide for a particular, I'll say, windy sequence that I found incredibly challenging. I know the dev was saying he plans on tweaking the difficulty and working through it, but overall, I absolutely, love the challenge. Maybe not everybody would, but I definitely did. And figuring out how to do cool jumps or chaining certain moves together is satisfying, but I kind of wish maybe it was a little less punishing, or there was a little more tutorial involvement to teach you how to do these things versus the kind of vague and out there, little puzzles you get when you go to run up to a wall. It'll just be like, press this button, and then that's it. It kind of just lets you go. Not that I want the game to be more hand-holdy, but it would be nice at times if it could, I don't know. I don't think explaining more is the right word, but ramp things up at a better rate, It feels sometimes like certain levels are challenging but fair, and then other ones are overwhelmingly impossible, and it takes forever to figure out how to do a single jump, much less any of the sprawling connections. If I had any other nitpicks about the story, again, I really love the game, but if there was one little thing I could say, it was that I almost wish the game relied more on its ambient storytelling. There's moments where, especially towards the end of the game, I'll say without getting into spoilers, the game decides to take a much more narrative-based, explaining what's going on, purpose, or purpose isn't the right word, but presentation. There we go. The presentation of what it believes the purpose of the story should be, what it believes you should be getting out of it. It kind of starts to hand feed you information, and I almost wish it didn't do that. I feel like it's at its strongest when it doesn't. I don't think I need an explanation for why these things are happening. I think it's great when you let me just kind of figure it out, You don't have to give me this antagonist or this different, you don't need to give me a focal point. That's a great way of saying it. A focal point to pin the story on, to pin my adventure on. Just let me figure it out on my own. You know, not every story needs to have a distinct ending. It can be open-ended, it can be interpreted, and I wish the game relied on that a little bit more towards the end, because there's some incredible sprawling sequences, some of which are choreographed, some of which are just great levels to jump around, that are absolutely fantastic. There was one final sequence that literally had my jaw agape, and I was just in love with it. And the soundtrack, it was so good. I loved it. The music in this game really hits those make or break points and pushes it over the edge from being a really fun 3D platformer to a great game that I think everyone should check out. It's really the combination of all its parts, the sum of everything put together, that makes Lorn Lure so good. I absolutely love it. Overall, this game is not only fantastic, but it's a must-play, I think, for indie game lovers and 3D platformer enjoyers. If you love Mirror's Edge particularly, and you've thought to yourself, I want something like Mirror's Edge again, this is your game. This is 100% your game. And if you even enjoy ambient horror or liminal spaces and stuff like that, then this is also your game. You should definitely check it out. Absolutely love it. Strong recommendation from me. And I hope it gets more notoriety, because right now people have been talking about it kind of on the indie scene, but I think it deserves a lot more love, and I would love to see, people checking it out and experiencing it. So shout out to the dev, shout out to the, amazing story it tells, and overall the great vibes it gives. I mean, it really is a unique energy that I didn't know I was missing, that I didn't know I wanted, and now that I have it, I just want more. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. It really helps the channel. And that's all I really got to say for today. Love you all so much. Thank you for the great support on the content, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody.